jump in it. Indeed we did. To the top right of Daybreak once again, we have our Zerg player for EGTL, this time not up against MC, but he himself is of course
EGJD Lady Core.
Looks very focused in the booth. That's actually the rule sheet, by the way. I look at it now, I recognize it.
Bottom left, we have the Protoss opponent of Jaedong. It is this time not MC as mentioned before. No, this is the MVP player. It is
MVP Vampire.
both of them are tied in the group at this point. So whoever loses here is already out of the... well, he can't advance to Kodes right away.
Right.
And they still have a shot of getting third place. But as we mentioned just a few seconds ago, apparently MC and Jaedong have to play a tournament abroad on the day of the wildcard group, which would mean that MC and Jaedong rely on taking second place today, on advancing to Code S right away. So this is really important then for Jaedong, that he wins this, that he does not just take third place in this group and has another shot in the wildcard group, but that he advances today to Code S.
Yeah.
Or not at all.
That's how it is. And that's actually really good extra information that you gave, because I did not know that. And that makes this all the more stressful for those two players in the group.
I completely forgot about it. I talked to, when I was watching Pro League in Yongsan today, I talked to a few people about it, that Jaedong has to leave pretty soon, because they were talking about the timings and how scheduling for players is really difficult. But then when I came here, I completely forgot that it would also affect the wildcard group. It just didn't really cross my mind.
Yeah. Well, here's, you know, what you would expect in a Protoss versus Zerg. Except the probe attacking the hatchery, that's a little bit weird. That's why the probe's like, wait a minute, I don't know if this is right. It stopped. But we have Nexus before Forge, so that's the one anomaly to detect. So this is becoming more and more common as people stop cannoning Zergs, because Zergs always go hatchery first. There's the cannon, or rather the gateway. The cannon will go down in a moment. This is again all about whether or not we're going to see the Stargate play of the Robo, or if we're just going to see a gateway expand, which is usually only seen on Entomb Valley, but we do very rarely see people try to get away with it on this map. It was something you saw usually only in this map's infancy, but nowadays it's all but disappeared.
I'm still thinking a little bit about how the group and everything actually works, because this is like one of the first times when we don't have to figure in all the situations in the group itself and how the players played against each other and what kind of tiebreakers we could have, but also this external factor of the tournament. So if I'm not mistaken, that actually means that Flash is at least third place. So no matter what happens, he takes at least the wildcard group.
Yeah, I hope they thought that far ahead so that they can make that sort of distinction already.
We can tell them later.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so, well, focusing on the group and the match itself, again, we are gonna go through the entire cast now and just talk about the group standings as if this like additional tournament wouldn't exist, and if the players could actually participate, and then later on, after all the matches are played. Oh, this is actually awesome. Okay, guys, so to put all the thoughts on rest, first of all, thank you very much to the production team to be this fast and updating us immediately. So the situation is that if those players, they will play. They arrive back in Korea at 4 p.m. and then they would play 2 hours later, they would play their match. So don't worry, guys. This does not affect them. They will be a bit jet lagged probably. They will try to sleep on the plane or whatever. But in the end, it means the player who is third place today, be it Flash, be it Vampire, be it MC or Jaedong, they will play at the wildcard group. So putting all the speculations to rest here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the production team. Awesome job, guys. Thanks.
That simplifies things a lot, because that just makes it like regular.
Yeah. Thanks for having our back here.
Now, Robo is the tech of choice for Vampire, but it's hidden as well. This doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see Immortals, but we could. That Overlord that's coming into the left side, though, changes everything. Is he going to stop it? He can't stop it. No, his sentry has to wait, and so he can't go over there and actually kill that. Double sentry, but the Robo is seen, and the Observer, or rather the Overlord gets out. Now, he doesn't know if it's going to be an Observer first or Immortal first. That's one thing to this absolute close on, but it is Observer.
Yeah. He goes for the Observer here. We have additional gateways now. The Overlord is still on its way. 3 base for Jaedong. This is exactly the style that he wants to play. A normal game on this map, going into your normal 3-base style and then just reacting to what exactly the Protoss player does. And Vampire will try to take a 3rd base. We currently have him with the Twilight Council started, which means that he will get Blink and probably just push out with the safety of having Blink, having Immortals, having a couple of sentries, going out to the 3rd base, building the Nexus, trying to set up this wall and defend against these Zergling attacks and Roach attacks. Which is something that Zerg players don't really try to do anymore, because they've realized if the Protoss player does everything well, it's going to be so hard to break through the wall, especially with the good positioning of the Immortals, and also trying to rely on a flexible or fast army composition because of Blink is definitely not as easy as it was 8 months ago.
You basically have to be ahead for some other reason to really be able to make this attack work. I feel, because if you took a win, you took a few sentries out, for example, the small run by earlier, then that just makes things all the easier for you. But if you don't do anything to get ahead and then you think you're just going to headbutt that Nexus with a Zergling attack, you find out very quickly that with force fields, it's much easier to defend, especially on a map like Daybreak. This is not Belshire Vestige. Like I said before, this is not a business city. It's a fair map. And 2 additional cannons go down. So Vampire's not cutting any corners with that 3rd Nexus. No, not at all.
Jaedong is doing one of the things that a lot of Zerg players don't do against Protoss. He's spreading his creep and is spreading it well, not only at the 3rd base where he needed to stop a potentially mortal push, but also down the ramp at his natural. And he will prepare for this game. He already has the hatcheries up, the macro hatches that he missed a little bit in one of the last games in a different matchup against Yoda. His queens are hitting inject after inject. Queen energy is so low at this point, and he's going for all these upgrades. And he wants to pressure a bit. He has a few units there, doesn't lose anything, but as you can see, he doesn't fully commit just yet. We have him with more Lings and more Roaches.
I mean, that was 4 force fields for a Roach, what we just saw. And, you know, that's arguable about whether or not that's worth it. Depends on how much time he gives you after that. But, this Immortal is getting a little bit ahead of itself.
I wonder how much Jaedong is going to invest to this. I really thought he would just... You know, what a lot of Zerg players will do is just have a couple of units, poke, and show the units to the Protoss player, force him to get additional, to just delay his tech a little bit.
Make some more cannons.
Force him to get cannons, force him to get more units, get his production up, and then just delay his tech a little bit, and at the same time you get your 4th base, you drone up. But Jaedong doesn't do that. Jaedong commits heavily to the Zerglings and Roaches. He wants to crush this.
He's going to want to go in from both sides. Now he's doing it. He's attacking the 3rd base and comes in the natural at the same time. That Immortal is actually stuck a little bit here. Jaedong's trying to find an angle, but Vampire's defense so far is really solid. You're going to see force fields go down again. He trapped several units this time. 4 force fields for 3 Roaches. The natural is a little bit exposed, but with the cannon and all the zealots lined up like this, Jaedong cannot really break through.
And this is going to get very problematic because he just had so many resources invested in this push.
And it's not even over. He's making 13 more Roaches right now. He's actually really, really committing. And more Immortals come out through here. He doesn't get the core even. Uh-oh, these also get back. That was close. Oh, Jaedong is in a lot of trouble here because eventually Vampire's just going to come up like this. He's going to leave a few sentries behind at his 3rd and then come up and sandwich.
Jaedong has to do damage, and this might be exactly the angle that he needs. Finally, he's getting close to those Immortals, and he takes the first of them out immediately. The Zerglings are running in. The Roaches trying to close the distance, chasing down Immortal number 2, which is also going to die. Force fields are trapping the units, but the second set of Roaches is already at the natural, moving in and trying to take down the last Immortal.
Yeah, and I feel like Jaedong may have overwhelmed him here. There's basically nothing left but sentries, and sentries can't really fight. He's got a few more Stalkers. The Roaches actually run into the natural, and Jaedong takes out the cannon. He's rallying more and more units across. He just wants to end the game.
Vampire's trying to force those units back out. He might be trapped in a weird spot. The Roaches running into the main base now. A couple of sentries are suddenly in a dire situation, as they face the Lings, and he doesn't force field.
No, not at all.
He doesn't try to save them at all. He's occupied in the main base. He doesn't see it.
He's losing a lot of workers right now, but Jaedong actually is only 2 workers up right now.
Oh god, there are Lings and Roaches everywhere. Vampire is completely overwhelmed by this onslaught.
He just doesn't have enough units to defend, and the production of Jaedong is too good. The worker count right now is 61 to 56, so Jaedong not too far ahead, but the problem is his army is just so much better. The army supply right now is 89 to 30.
Jaedong is going for the kill. Vampire is with his back to the wall. He's trying to defend, but what can he do? This is just too much.
And even though the Immortals here, it's not going to last forever. No force fields.
Oh my god, too many roaches.
And he targets down the final Immortal.
Too much Jaedong.
Too much Jaedong, and now he doubles the supply. Girls are screaming. Zealot's warped in here, but he's going to trade as best as he can. The Nexus at the Natural is falling. Wow. GG.
Oh my god. GG. Jaedong taking the game and puts himself in a great position here. Flash was relying on Jaedong losing. So now it comes down to MC versus Yonghwa, our last game of this day. If Yonghwa wins, then Jaedong is in Code S. If MC wins, MC is in Code S. Wow. And let me just think for a second. Can Flash still get third place?
I don't know, man, you're the Calder. I'm just watching you compute it. For me, right, my brain is actually computing that attack, because what we saw was really great multitasking and micro from Jaedong, and a little bit of, I don't want to say lack of, it was just, there was something missing for Vampire. Like, he couldn't quite, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't quite stop all the, it was like the floodgates were broken and it was like too much Jaedong.
Flash is in Code A.
Yeah, I guess so, but
don't say yeah like you know what I'm talking about. Don't do that.
But yeah, seriously, that was too much Jaedong, too much. I don't think he realized how many units were actually coming down, or he would have started more cannons. He would have been a little bit more conservative with his Immortals. You know, he came too soon away from his third base, and then he got sandwiched.
He walked out of his natural because he wanted to connect with the units at the third base. He tried to just secure the high ground at between the third and the natural, and then the Zerglings, while he was occupied at the third, the second wave came in from Jaedong and cut those Immortals off. They couldn't get behind the wall anymore. Yeah. He killed both Immortals, and suddenly this left Vampire really open, and Jaedong used all these holes, went into the natural, then into the main base, and you could really see how all the sentries that Vampire pulled back died, and not only they had energy. He could have used force fields any time to save them, but he didn't see it because he was busy in the main base trying to get rid of these roaches, and that was exactly the time when all the units ran into the natural again. The sentries with the back to the wall, no chance.
It was too overwhelming for him. He tried to connect, he couldn't do it. Now our final game is between Yonghwa and MC, a PvP. Yonghwa wants to redeem himself. You know, we saw earlier that Yoda was not able to be invincible in this group. He went 4-1. Yonghwa wants to go 1-4. He wants to be the guy who does not go 0-5 in an up and down group, because that's always a little bit embarrassing.
Yeah. Currently we have in the group, actually I was mistaken. MC is of course on 2-2, so if MC loses, then Jaedong takes like second place, will advance together with Yoda, and Flash is the third place. If MC wins now, MC advances, and then Jaedong takes third place. So Flash, to get the wildcard spot, has to rely on MC winning right now. Nope, has to the other way, to Yonghwa winning.
I trust you.
Yeah, the thing is, Jaedong and Flash have 3 wins, both of them. MC does only have 2 wins. So if MC loses now, then Jaedong and Flash are tied. Jaedong won against Flash, so Jaedong advances to Code S, and Flash takes third place. If MC wins, then MC is on 3 wins, advances to Code S because he won against Jaedong and Flash. Then Jaedong and Flash are tied for third base. Jaedong won against Flash. Jaedong takes third place, and and Flash drops down to Code A. So that's basically the story.
Okay. Calder told the story. We're going to tell the story of this final Protoss versus Protoss here, the up and downs.